Have you ever heard the phrase, the stories of our mind become the stories of our lives? So if you've ever thought about crafting the identity of a millionaire, it's all going to start with your thoughts and your mindset. So if that's something that interests you, stick around for this video. I'm going to go through 10 steps that I think it takes to craft the identity of a millionaire, because I'm on a journey in this season of my life, part of which is to reach millionaire status in my business and my life. And I'm not just talking about revenue, I'm talking about 7 figures in my investment account, in my savings account, some account with my name on it. So let's get started. And if you see me throughout the video kind of glanced off, it's because I don't want to forget one of the steps, so I have jotted them down. Let's get started with crafting the identity of a millionaire. So I've been kind of mentioning this in the last couple of videos, and it's to visualize your future self. And it's just not to visualize the future millionaire Sherry. It's also to believe in future millionaire Sherry, to believe that version of me is possible. So it's just not, creating this vision in my mind and going about my day. I also have to believe in those things that I'm saying. So what is millionaire Sherry doing? How does she start her day? So if we were to visualize, if you were to visualize that version of yourself, first start with your day. What is it that you do every day? Who are you around? What activities are you participating in? What do you do for a living? Are you an entrepreneur? Are you retired? Are you in corporate America? What does that part of your life look like? So just dissect each part of your life. Put where you are now and then future millionaire version of yourself. And then remember to figure out how you're going to bridge that gap. The first step is to visualize that version of yourself and then to believe in that version of yourself. And when you're going throughout your day and you're trying to act as if and living this version of yourself, if you're doing something that's out of alignment with the millionaire version, then you need to hit pause, reassess, and figure out what it is that you need to do, the actions that you need to take, the choices that you need to make, the intentions you need to set that would align with the millionaire version of yourself. So in this particular step, depending on where you are, I do both. You could create a vision board. Vision boards aren't just for December 31st and you're trying to plan out the next year. You can do a vision board any day, anytime. Now, I have a video on my channel where I show you how I use Canva to actually create my vision boards, because I want the images on my board to reflect me. So if you, and I use Canva Pro, so I have access to more advanced tools that are available in the free version. But I typically take a picture of myself, and you could probably do this if you use another graphic program, and I remove the background. And then I'm able to take that picture and place it somewhere. So last year and this year too, I've put myself in Portugal and Italy, different places that I want to travel. Italy is fast moving to #1, but I'm pretty sure I'm probably going to go to Portugal first. But anyway, if that's what you do, it does. I keep it in my office and I look at it. I have different things on there. I have my business goals, but I also script, which is really just a version of journaling. So when I'm scripting, I place myself in that version, millionaire Sherry. So I write in my journal scripting as if those things have already taken place, because the subconscious mind can't make the distinction. So you don't write it in the future, you write it in present tense. So depending on what you're going to do, whether it's a vision board, whether it's scripting, or maybe just every day you have a practice in the morning or in the evening. The evenings are a good time to visualize, because then you go to sleep with those images on your mind and they stay with you throughout the night. So your subconscious has a time to process them. That's a very simplistic view, and there's a lot of things out there on this subject, but ideally, like right before you go to sleep, if you visualize that version of yourself or some part of your life, that you are trying to manifest, it stays with you in your subconscious throughout the night. So the next thing is millionaire habits. So typically, you want to have like some type of routine, reading personal development books, things that keep your mind on a positive note versus allowing yourself to go into the rabbit hole of negative thoughts, or pay attention to the things that you say about yourself. Like one day, take a notebook and just write down the thoughts that are going through your mind and how many of those are actually negative. Because the things that you are saying about yourself and that you're writing down, would you actually say those things to someone else? And if you wouldn't, why are you saying them to yourself? So I did that a long time ago, when I first started trying to become conscious of my thoughts and the thoughts that I was feeding myself. Because a lot of times we're harder on ourselves than we are on anyone else. So I would say, if you even don't want to write it down, I'm just a visual person. So a lot of times writing things down, it resonates with me more. But just take notice of the things and the thoughts that are going through your mind. Like, how many times per day do you say something that's not putting yourself in a positive light? Or you start thinking all these limiting beliefs, like, I'm never going to be a millionaire. To be a millionaire, this has to happen. Or I don't make enough on my job, so how am I ever going to reach that? Like those type of things, they're going to keep you stuck in that place. So when you think something like that, flip it. So no, you're not a millionaire now. But in order to move into that mindset, maybe I could just start doing this. Maybe I could start saving a little. Maybe I could just invest, start out with a couple of shares of stock, a small amount in a mutual fund. The purpose is to just get started. That is the first step, is getting started. Doesn't matter how small that first step is. The important thing is that you take that first step. And more importantly, that you stop feeding those negative thoughts and limiting beliefs into your conscious and subconscious. So the second step is to work on developing millionaire habits. Whether that's a daily routine, you have a routine in the morning, you wake up, you don't pick up your phone, going through the news, going through your text message. Have a different type of routine that starts your day on a more positive note. Now, I have a worksheet that I used, the micro principles. So I figure out, some days I wake up, yeah, I'm not in a positive mindset, like I'm human. It ain't, it's not like rosy over here every day. And then I try to set an intention for that day. I'm a planner. What choices can I make? What actions can I take? And what habits am I working on? Because right now, I have one habit that, I am trying to get back to walking at least 5 days a week, because it just helps my mind calm down, as well as that's when I get the best ideas for my business. And I sleep better. So that's a habit. I used to walk all the time, and then I stopped. Eventually, I want to get back to swimming 1 day a week, but right now I haven't figured out an ideal time, because summer camps are still going on here, and they're in the pools a lot during the day because I swim at a rec center. So just start working on developing millionaire habits. Third is financial education. So depending on where you are, we're all at different points on that. Some people are trying to get started, some people haven't started, some people novice, some people are advanced. Wherever you fit, where you are, get in where you fit in. But there's always room for growth, no matter where you are in life. You can always expand different perspectives. I've been in financial services my whole life, but I watch different YouTube channels. I can pick up tips because I don't follow the market as much as I used to, and I don't really do the crypto thing at all. But some people do. That's a part of their investment strategy. So the biggest thing is that you have to recognize where you are, because we are all unique individual. And things like this, they aren't cookie cutter. And I, say this a lot, because sometimes people watch gurus and they think, oh, they told me to do this, so I should do this. Well, you should only do it if it fits your plan. So in order for you to figure out what fits your plan, is you have to figure out where you are now. You have to be honest with yourself. And then what are your goals as far as your money and as far as investing? And then you can figure out what it is you want to do. Now, I'll have a link in the description on crafting the millionaire mindset. It's a workbook and a checklist that kind of corresponds with this video. In there, I will give some suggestions. You can check them out, different channels that I watch, different books. Is like going back to developing financial habits. I read a lot more than I used to, trying to do at least 2 books a month this year. And then, recommendations on books that I've read and a couple that are on my to read list. So those are things that can get you started. Watch different channels, get different perspectives on investing, the type of investments, and assess your level of risk. You definitely want to diversify. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Disclaimer, this is not financial advice. Seek a financial advisor for that. But you want to diversify. And like I said, the key to anything is just to take a step. So figure out where you are, figure out where you want to go, and then you'll know what your first step should be. 4, surround yourself with success. So there's a quote, and I'm probably going to butcher it. If you're the smartest person in your group, you probably need to be in a different group. So in your circle of friends, everybody may not align may not mirror you. And that's a good thing. You need different things in your life. Well, let me speak personally. I need different things in my life. So I have friends I can talk business with. I don't have many friends here where I live now that I can craft with because I like that. But back home in Michigan, I used to get together like a few times a week with former coworkers. We spend the whole day. We eat lunch. We go back. We craft. We talk more than we would craft. But I had that group for that because most people in my immediate circle do not craft. And then actually most people in my immediate circle are not aspiring entrepreneurs, but I do have a few friends that are. So we can kind of bounce things off of each other and I can talk to someone. And as far as investing, like I say, I don't track the market. I don't follow the market on a regular basis. But I have friends that do. We exchange investment tips, like I'm investing in this. As I get older, I'm not taking on as much risk, so I'm kind of switching over to mutual funds and ETFs versus individual stocks, but I do have some individual stocks, but I have people that I can talk to about that. But you always want to have somebody in your circle that's ahead of you in the game because it's not a competition. It's about uplifting each other. So maybe they have something that you want in your life. And you can look at their life and their steps of how they got there, or you can talk it through with them. But I would say surround yourself with people who are going to uplift you and empower you to move into crafting that millionaire identity. Everyone in your circle can't be below you or on the same level as you, or you're not going to grow. That kind of defeats the purpose. So surround yourself, look at your circle, see what they bring, and more importantly, what do you bring to the circle? So it's not just surrounding yourself with people, they're going to lift you up and you're just going to sit back and take it all in. It's a give and take type of thing. So what are you bringing to the mix? Look at that. That's important too. Pretty sure this is 5. So you want to cultivate a positive mindset. And I am big on mindset. So your thoughts are very important. Your words are very important. The words that you say to other people and the words that you say to yourself. So I kind of went over that earlier. But you want to pump yourself full of positivity. Your mindset is very important to your growth and the direction of your life. So take some time, figure out where it is. Because it may, like when I was talking, if you watched the video, when I recapped, I was in a season that I really wasn't moving forward. And part of it was my mindset. Like I had just allowed myself to get into a scarcity mindset. I was not thriving. It was a lower point in my life. And I had to take some time, sit with it, figure out where that came from, how I got to that, recognize it, and then start taking steps to move myself in a positive direction. I have affirmations that I say. I bought up, it was on the internet one day, it appeared on my Facebook feed, And it was a box of affirmation cards, and I think there were 30 in there. And so every day I would just randomly select one, and usually it was the affirmation on the front, and then like a um, little paragraph underneath, and it started to shift my mindset. So if you find yourself going through something like that, figure out for you what it is that takes you to move into something more positive. Walking also does that for me. And that's why that's a habit that I'm getting back into, because for months I didn't walk and I saw the effect on me. When crafting your millionaire identity, you should have some goals. I wouldn't say have a lot, because it's like resolutions. They'll just fall off if it gets to be too much. You're not going to follow through with it. So recently I've been working on this framework, and it'll also be included in the workbook. The link will be in the description if you want to download it. Is set a main goal. So whatever that is, like this year you want to reach a millionaire status. Under that, 2 sub goals that you need that will help you reach that main goal. For the sub goal, 3 objectives within that. And then for each objective, one thing that you're going to do that's going to move you closer to that objective. And you keep doing that. The small steps keep moving you forward, and eventually you get up to your main goal. So it's the 1, 2 objectives, 3 strategies for those objectives, and then 1 task that you can do that will help you achieve that particular strategy. So again, all of that, the framework and an example, will be in the workbook. But overall, and I guess, again, get in where you fit in. But for me, I set goals or intentions, whichever they are different. But I need some direction. That's just how I live my life. I kind of need to be headed somewhere. And when I don't have that, I'm a little off my rhythm. And it doesn't have to be very rigid, but you can loosely sketch it. You should just be headed towards something if you want to craft a millionaire identity. Piggybacking off of that is you have to take action. So all of these things that I'm saying, and this is step number 6, pretty sure I lost count, but you have to take action. So whether you're visualizing, you're scripting, you're writing goals out, you're seeing your future self, whatever it is, action has to be attached to those things. I say it all the time. These things aren't fairy dust. Nobody's going to sprinkle fairy dust over your life and you're magically going to be a millionaire. You take small steps, you have some directions, you set some goals. If you're a person who believes in visualization, law of attraction, law of assumption, all of those things, then start visualizing yourself. See yourself living that life. See yourself doing things that you would do once you reach your millionaire status. But you also have to put action behind those things. So when you have goals, that's the purpose of the 1, 2, 3, 1. The 1 is something, the small step. That's the small action that you need to take so that you're not overwhelmed. Because if you bite off too much and you become overwhelmed, usually most people, including myself, you're either going to avoid doing it or you're just not going to do it at all. So just help yourself out. Take small steps and just don't put too much pressure on yourself. So if you don't reach that number 1 goal that was up here, how close did you get? And then the next time, figure out what you can do differently that will move you there. It doesn't necessarily have to be faster, but what will move you there? It's not about getting there in record time. It's just about getting there. So yes, I had lost count because this is number 8. Embrace failure. Now I'm going to tell you, I probably struggled with this because early 2000, my first business venture, I owned some vending machines, and I ended up because I was starting out just myself, so I was stocking the machines. I had some snacks and some beverages. Well, lifting cans of pop, because I'm from the Midwest. Some of you might say soda, but it's pop for me. It's heavy. I think I didn't take that into account when I started that business. So I ended up doing something to my back because I can't lift heavy things anymore. I can't be on my feet for long periods of time. Um, and so I ended up selling off the business. But during that time, like that had been a dream of mine, one of my revenue streams. And depending on if you get a good location for a vending machine, you can do very well. Like I knew someone who, like I said, I'm from the Detroit area. She had the school system, she had a couple of prisons, like she was doing very well with it. My route was not at that point yet. I was just getting started. So I had a couple of high traffic areas. I had some of the quarter vending machines. So I had a mixture of the different type of machines. I kept the quarter ones for a lot longer. I ended up selling the bigger ones because, like I said, lifting the cans of pop got to be too much. But when that business didn't work out, I think subconsciously I carried that failure with me. So as I started to do things later in life, because I have an entrepreneurial spirit and I have been striving towards this has been my goal forever. But I was a single parent, as I've mentioned in other videos, so other people were depending on me. Now, when I left corporate America to start that business and do some other things on my own, it was my leap of faith. I took a leap of faith to do that because I felt like if I didn't, I don't know, I was missing something and I was out of alignment. So it was something I felt I had to do. But when it didn't work out, I have two daughters that were dependent on me. So that was it. Like I had done it, it didn't work. I gave it my all. But now I had to go back to work for someone else because roof over the head, clothes on the back, food on the table. Those are things I am required to do. All kidding aside, these are things that, I want to give my daughters an experience to travel. They're graduating, like all the things that comes with raising children. So went back to work. Now I'm on that hamster wheel for me, not for everyone, but for me. And I don't know, it was just this nagging feeling how that didn't work. And I kind of felt like that failure stuck with me instead of at the time, because I wasn't there with my mindset, using that experience to elevate me on my next business adventure. Now I look back and after I started Etsy in 2018, 2019, I did reflect on that experience and I did see where I could have done things better, how it affected me mentally, how it affected my mindset. I did reflect, but when I went through it in the early 2000s, I didn't. So subconsciously, I think I carried that failure with me instead of using it to push me forward. Failures are failures, but they're not the end. They're stepping stones to something bigger. So while that didn't work out, it wasn't for me. When I look at it now, I mean, depending on how big the route has gotten, it's a lot. You got to go pick up the money. You got to keep, if you have a place that's turning over frequently, you have to keep it stocked. And depending on how many machines you have on your route, you might have to end up hiring people. That's a cash business, if you know what I'm saying. So you have to have people that you trust to go empty out, the money from the machine. So it was a lot. It could be a lot. People make a lot of money off of it. So I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I'm just saying, like, when I look back, I don't see it in the same light that I did when it didn't work out. But keep in mind, failures are not the end. They are stepping stones. Use that as a teachable moment to either show you that you are not on the right path. Maybe you need to think about pivoting, or you need to keep moving forward where you're going, but you need to do it in a different way. Now, for me, this last go round, about when I talked about fourth quarter 2023, it was my intention behind what I was doing. So it wasn't aligned with my big goal and it blew up in my face and I have to take ownership of that. But that particular thing, failure, if you want to call it that, it placed me on this path that I am on now. I needed to go through that season to go on to this new chapter, which I am very excited about. Like the ideas for my journaling, my journals, they're just flowing. I have so many index cards and you can't do everything. So, I have forced myself to stay focused on the top three. But still, when I have ideas that have come from that season of failure, I write them down because they could be for the future. But whatever, or maybe something that I think is in the top three doesn't end up going as well, or as I start to write it out or plan it out, is not going as well as I would like it to, then I can look at the other ones. But stepping stones, not the end. Whether you're crafting the millionaire identity or just life in general, practice gratitude. Always give thanks for what you have now. Because used to tell my children when they were little, we don't have as much as some and we have more than others. So you give thanks for where you are now. I do that every morning. I used to write it sometimes in my journal, but like I said, I don't really journal every day. So that's not a practice that I do. But now I do wake up in the morning. I give thanks, one, for just waking up. Because the older I get, I realize more how much of a blessing that is. And that is not to say that I did not know it before, but trust me, now I have more years behind me than I do ahead of me. So I give thanks for waking up, for the people in my life, for my family, childhood friends that are still friends. Like, the Lord has blessed me and I am thankful for it. So gratitude is a key part of life, whether you're crafting a millionaire mindset or not. Number 10, dream big. So with all of this, allow yourself to dream big. Think about when you were a kid. Most kids, including myself, when you're younger, you just think, you're going to do this and you don't really think twice about it. You're just going to do it because you want to do it and that's it. As you start to get older, I can't really remember what age, mine's probably changed. Then the other things creep in, the doubt, the insecurities. You start to second guess your choices. I don't have that as much, but I'm human. So yes, I do have it. Yes, I did have it growing up. But when I was a child, you're a child. You have a child mind. You allow yourself to let your imagination run wild. And you don't really think that there's anything wrong with that. But as we get older, we kind of push those things down. But if you want to craft a millionaire mindset, allow yourself to dream. Think about my magazine cover, Mastering the Art of Living, Audacious Living. Mastering the Art of Audacious Living. Be bold, be courageous, be determined. Dream without limits and choose without fear. So under dreaming big, allow your imagination to just go where it goes. Don't stop it, because that'll be the key. Like, if you're going to say, oh, I want to be a millionaire, I'm going to do this, but you don't allow yourself the endless possibilities, to explore those possibilities, to actually allow your imagination to just run wild. I'm not saying you can't do it, because I'm sure there are a lot of people probably that didn't, but I think most people probably had a vision. They allowed themselves, whether people told them it was unrealistic or not, they allowed themselves to believe in that future version of themselves. They allowed themselves to believe in that vision that they have for themselves, and they allowed their imagination to guide them. They didn't shut it down, and they followed that. So a video I posted a few weeks ago about those 5 people, I'm sure they let their imagination, they didn't stop themselves and go, oh, that dream is too big, I'll never reach that. No, just allow yourself to dream big. Don't forget, there's a link in the bio. Not the bio, I'm sorry. The link in the description for the workbook. If you want to check it out, kind of goes along with the checklist of the things for crafting a millionaire mindset. Don't give a video a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you're notified the next time I record a video, as well as the subscribe button. Come back for future videos on this topic, as well as others that align with the micro principles: mindset, intention, choices, action, and habits. Enjoy your day, and I'll see you next week.